Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines. We got Digital Pound Foundation, Sendi Young, Asheesh, Birla, Bragg Garlinghouse in Paris. Is there a French connection? We're going to take a look at it. Hell, it's the whole Ripple cast at this point. And XRP price bullish too? Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at Dig Perspectives at the top of the screen, and everything we're talking about here today. Look at this, $1.878 trillion market cap, which technically is a nice little fact, because even though we're off by 1.28%, we're off by even more than that from yesterday, because yesterday we were at 1.9 trillion. So tens of billions of dollars missing from the market, and look at this. XRP is up to 78 cents. We're up 7.74% on the 24-hour, ladies and gentlemen. Now, that is really something to note. And I think you're following what's going on here. So there is a call for a bullish push in price, and we'll see if the technical analysts will get it right before we get out of here for the rest of the day going into the weekend. Right now, got 79 cents on Fiat Link. We're ranging between 72 on the low side and 81 cents on the top. So we've already busted into 81 cents, which was the bullish call for the 24-hour move. So we've actually hit that. So will we do more going into the weekend, or will it begin to have a sell-off? We don't know, but we'll see. And a lot of that could be based off of the strength of news that's happening here, pointing to what some legal analysts are saying, an inevitable settlement, or at least moving into settlement talks. Because this week we saw Sarah Netburn order the SEC to hand over the requested drafts and emails relating to the 2018 speech from William Hinman, the former director of the Commission Division Corporate of Finance. We'll keep you abreast of what goes on there, but it is expected that the SEC will obviously appeal up to Judge Torres. Now, some legal analysts, just to recap very quickly here, are saying that, it is in the SEC's best interest to not appeal up, because if they appeal up and lose that, and Torres aligns with Netburn to turn them over anyway, then the SEC will at that point have lost leverage, because they know they have to give up the emails. So if there is any kind of settlement talks going on, you would think that would be a pivotal moment for them to start talking before appealing, and I think they have 2-week time frame to do so. But look, this is why I tell you guys about Link 2 right here, and it'll load in a second, trust me. I tell you about Link 2 because shout out to Ray Fuentes, who does a great job over there as community director. The next phase of its metamorphosis into a unicorn, because they are doing amazing stuff there, and shout out to Joe and Doso, mucho love right there. Yeah, love you mucho, that's the phrase right there at Link 2, and I'm happy to be a part of that family and working with them. And I'll tell you that, they are doing a Dallas meetup. And if you're interested in being a part of it, if you're a Link 2 member, and to bring a friend with you that is interested, reach out to Nick Burafedo. And obviously, if you want any of the products, go to link2.com and get them, because, especially with Ripple and what's going on here, Bragg Garlinghouse has been very public about making an exit. So if you plan on getting Ripple shares, this is the platform to do it on. Private equity. Yeah, private investing made simple. Link underneath the video. Let's start right here from the Digital Pound Foundation, for which we know Susan Friedman, head of Ripple policy, is on that foundation for Ripple. Earlier this week, reported that President of Central Bank of Brazil confirmed this week that the country's central bank digital currency pilot will go live this year. Things are moving rapidly in the financial world, although it doesn't feel like it to all of us that have been here for years. but we have to see it from what is going on in the central bank world sector, financial world, SMEs, small, medium enterprises, right? This is Sendi Young talked about why financial institutions should leverage crypto and its infrastructure for payments and how regulation is key to further adoption. And that all aligns with the idea and understanding that the XRP ledger, Ripple X, and everything that's going on with the XRP Ledger Foundation joins Allbridge Network to enable cross-chain transfers of XRP Ledger tokens to Solana, Binance, and others. This kind of interoperability is exciting to me to see this taking place, bringing everything together across the ledger. You know, this is how you really bring the liquidity to what will become the Ripple Liquidity Hub, in my mind, by connecting everything to the world's first decentralized exchange, the XRP Ledger. Asheesh Birla says here, more institutional adoption of crypto, bringing real-world, non-speculative use cases like payments, real estate, equities, gaming, etc., and new liquidity venues, lower volatility. Next few years are going to be absolutely pivotal for crypto's integration into our global economy. Well said. This is the article. I'm not going to read it to you, but I will give you the summation that he basically said, as he said in his tweet there, the advances that really are to come in compliance, insurance, security, market integrity, and transparency. And that is going to open the door for institutional involvement, which is going to put so much water into the pool of investing into this crypto space that it will lessen the volatility here. And I think that's incredible and amazing. And I can't believe that I've got nets in the water waiting for it. That is amazing. Okay, right here it says, where there's smoke, there's fire. That's right. We're about to hear Brad Garlinghouse is a great interview that I'm about to play you while he's in Paris. But guess what else that's being kicked up in France? It's Ratha Kahneman finding another reference here that makes it into print, talking about the possibility of the XRP ledger being considered for France's central bank as the leading charge for a digital euro. It says here, reportedly looking at blockchain platforms like Ripple as options for currency creation. Come on in. Yeah, and he just happens to be in France too. Here's another little hint that Ripple's smack dab in the middle of all of this transformation to the new digital era. In Q1 22, we see European Markets and Securities Authority, the ESMA, met with Ripple to discuss markets and crypto assets. Micah, this is the ESMA disclosure form. Very quickly, you can see right here. There it is. I mean, this is just getting very good in my eyes, I have to tell you. I really do like seeing this stuff. This is just an illustration. We all know a lot of the partners, Santander, right? Bank of England and many others. We know Bank of America is in a partner to Ripple, and it all looks like the whales and submarines under the water. I just found that to be a great illustration. But listen, let's take a listen to what's happening right now with Ripple and how Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, feels about what's going on with this case and crypto overall. He's bullish. Take a listen here.
Ripple uses the XRP token in our tech stack. We use it to enable that cross-border, extremely fast and extremely reliable transaction. So we use XRP because of its attributes that make it fast and inexpensive. There are other tokens that people use for other use cases that don't work as well for payments. The XRP ledger, from its origins, has really enabled payments at scale in a way that certainly Bitcoin, while it's very good for digital gold, its speed and cost per transaction makes it less attractive for a payments type use case. So Ripple will continue to use XRP because of its core attributes as a really efficient technology.
Is that something you see continuing in your tech stack going forward?
For sure, without question. And I think you'll see Ripple use the XRP ledger for other use cases as well. We're certainly making investments, as I mentioned, in the carbon credit marketplace and other verticals that we think could be compelling.
We've seen a lot of market volatility, of course, in the public equity markets. We've seen that filter through to the crypto markets as well. What's your outlook for the rest of the year? Do you expect sort of crypto markets to push higher and that volatility reduce, or are you expecting just this continued sort of seesawing we're seeing?
I think it's really hard to know the timing, but I'm incredibly bullish on crypto overall. And frankly, that's because of the macro factors. There's two that I'll highlight. The macro factor around inflation globally. You saw this past week record inflation at, for I think 4 decades, inflation in the United States at 8.5%. The other factor I think is really important not to lose sight of is, as you and I have talked about, the move from crypto overall towards an institutional use case, solving real problems for real customers, and these scaled solutions that aren't just about the speculative activity that has really driven some of the historic crypto market activity.
Brad, I want to sort of move on and talk about regulation, which has been a huge topic yesterday, and it will continue today as well. You're currently in a legal battle with an SEC that's been going on for a year or so. Can you give us an update on that and when you expect a resolution?
That started in December 2020, and the core question there is around a nuanced legal question. Is XRP a security? And did Ripple sell, as an XRP, an investment contract, did Ripple sell unregistered securities? Did I, Brad Garlinghouse, sell XRP as an unregistered security? I think it's very clear that in the United States, the laws have not been clear. And for the SEC then to go back in time and say, you should have known all along, it's really, I think, going to be hard. It's a hard case. And I think what we're seeing in the court process, which does continue to play out, is a judicial process that recognizes some of this. Even this past couple days, there was a ruling from the court finally requiring the SEC to publish information about some speeches that the Director of Corporate Finance, Hinman, gave about Ether not being a security. And the fact that even now you have the SEC not able to answer the question, is Ether a security? They won't answer that question. They're saying there's clarity, but then they won't provide clarity. They're saying they won't comment on specific projects, but then they comment on Bitcoin. Bitcoin is one of the largest projects, but yet still just a project.
Very quickly, for Brad to highlight about the 63 emails. Listen, this was something that was brought up in the community here before the Ripple team and everybody. I mean, shout out to Digital Asset Investors. Shout out to TAIG, who's taking a break now. Ripple Eye. Shout out to Stefan Hubert, myself, and Nerd Nation, and Nate the Price, and Tim, and so many others out here in the influencer world that have contributed to that becoming such a major conversation. Make no mistake about it. All of us that have contributed energy, time, and effort to that. Crypto law, certainly John Deaton, right? This is a huge, huge point that's being made now by CEO Brad Garlinghouse as a key moment for this case. And it really, really is, because there's been so much that has been exposed about the inconsistency of the regulation from the SEC. Continue to listen here.
Just in terms of broader crypto market regulation, we had, of course, the executive order from President Joe Biden. At the time, there was a lot of criticism. Well, this doesn't sort of go far enough. It's not laying out specifics. What's your view on it? Did you think it was significant for the market?
I think it was very significant. I think it's very positive. Frankly, the leadership we've seen outside of the United States in crypto regulation is way ahead of where it has been in the U.S. It's something we've been saying for years. And I think at the core of the executive order from the Biden administration is acknowledging that exact point, that the competitiveness of the U.S. in these developing markets around crypto, around blockchain technologies has fallen behind, and more investment and more talent is going outside the United States. When entrepreneurs here in Paris talk to me about starting companies in the crypto space, one of the first things I'll recommend to them is you shouldn't start the company in the United States because there isn't that clarity. And so a lot of the hiring, even for Ripple, we'll hire over 300 people this year. Well over half of those I expect to be non-US based.
I mean, think of that. Well over half of those to be non-US based. I mean, that to me is pretty remarkable. Look, if there's something to take away from this, I tell you, it is the fact that when you run into negative energy in your life, whether it is personal relationship, work relationship, business, whatever level it is, point and go to another direction. Don't try to force a square peg into a round hole. Look what Ripple is doing. They're like, you know what? Well, we don't have any problem or resistance in other parts of the world, and they're going to hire over 300 people, and most of those are going to be on the other side of the world because the U.S. is having this struggle because they can't get it together because the SEC is causing a logjam. Well, I think this ends this year. I don't know when. I don't pretend to know when, but I mean, you know, most legal analysts are telling us this case will end this year, and they probably will drag it out to the end of the year. We should at least expect that, right? And before we get out of here, it is true. We have seen 80 cents already overnight, up 7.74% so far in the 24-hour. What will it do going into weekend? Nobody knows, but I'll tell you this. It's been a great week for Ripple, and I think it's going to be a great year ultimately for XRP. I'm a glass half full kind of guy. We'll see how this unfolds. I hope everybody has a great weekend. That's going to do it for me. I will catch you on the next one. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. Check out all the links below.